thing. Real estate agents are freaking overwhelmed. I mean, let's call it what it is. This is not unusual. This is a very common thing. And the reality is what real estate agents need is they need help. They need it now. But the problem is they don't know how to get it. They don't know where to get it. They don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to hire, train it, find it. They don't know how to delegate to it. And we're going to demystify that right now, very quickly, very short, with my friend Gary Prado. Gary owns a company called Vitalis. Vitalis helps. It's actually Vitalis Outsourcing, I guess, technically, right? And Vitalis helps real estate agents find, hire, and implement virtual assistants in their business. Gary, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today. And so, first of all, I want to debunk something really quick, because a lot of agents think, I'm just going to go to onlinejobs.ph and I'm going to go, find my own VA, save a bunch of money. And, as I've heard this, the first thought that came to my mind is, and we've been talking about VAs forever, right?
Yeah.
And obviously I've got, I at any given time, I employ between 35 and 150 people overseas. And so, I've got some experience with this. And I used to own an outsourcing company, which, by the way, I don't anymore. So, man, I'm just telling you, like, I feel for you, bro. It's a big deal. That's a tough business. That being said, when you talk about this onlinejobs.ph stuff, I see these guys, they think, okay, I'm going to go hire these people. But what they don't realize is to get down to the good ones, right? Like for right now, I'll bet I've got 75 virtual assistants working for me today. And I'll tell you, I've gone through thousands of people to get to those 75 people. And I've got full-time staff that's what they do. They recruit, they hire, they train, they interview, it's all, and it is an all-encompassing siege to do this without the help of Vitalis. And so tell us, first of all, how does Vitalis solve these problems and still do it in a way that's affordable and effective for real estate agents?
Yeah. And Michael, that's the $20,000 question. So, you can go to any platform and start recruiting and, setting up meetings and hire people. But what we do and where our niche is that we have about a 2-week vetting process. And so right off the bat, they have a background check. We give them a personality test, a skills assessment test, also an English comprehension test. That test alone takes 3 hours. And so, so we go through all of this, all of these skills assessment tests. And then what we do is we then get the people that pass the test. It's about 1% that pass. Then when we get that 1%, they have to go through 2 interviews through our director of operations and our trainers. And then once they go through those interviews and pass, they're ready to be placed with companies. And so our vetting process is really second to none. Our director of operations, Kay, does a fabulous job on vetting and recruiting. And when they get to you, they are ready to be productive. After they go through the 2-week vetting process, we then spend a week training them on your systems and processes. You don't have to do any of that. And so it's kind of like a white glove experience where we take those executive assistants and train them, and they're ready to be productive. So are we for everybody? No. If you want to churn and burn virtual assistants, like a lot of people have, a lot of virtual assistants go and work for a company for a month. They end up getting fired, then just go to the next company. And you spent money training them, time training them. Right now at Vitalis, we have 100% placement rate. Nobody has left a company. And there's a reason for that. The reason is our skills assessment test, our vetting process, our interview process. We have a contract with them. We buy them health insurance. They are vetted and they work for us. And it is a real position, not a gig where they're hopping back and forth to different companies. And so that's what makes us stand out. We're going to train and manage those VAs. At the end of every week, you're going to get a report, an attendance report, a KPI report, a productivity report, any red flags that might happen if the executive assistant goes from one page on their computer to another and it's not appropriate for business. You're going to get a flag on that. So we train and manage them on that white glove experience and take them through that whole process, and they're going to be ready to be productive on a high level very quickly.
So let me ask you a couple of questions about this. So first of all, I love what you're talking about with the software. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Before we talk about, accountability and that sort of thing, let's talk about the hiring process. And then I want to talk about what it costs, right? So this hiring process you put them through, I mean, first of all, 3-hour English interview. I mean, I don't think most agents would know where to start with that. And I got to tell you, that's for us, that's always a concern because you think about it, when you hire a VA from overseas, a lot of times they know enough English to kind of, sound good on the phone and they can get through the interview. But then you find out that, a lot of nuance is lost on them. They don't really comprehend English at the level that we need them to. And so I love that you're putting them through that process. But let me ask this, because it seems like with all the work that you guys are putting into to hiring these guys, this has probably got to be pretty expensive. I mean, what does it cost to hire a VA through you guys? And then I want to go deeper on the whole, how are you, holding them accountable? Because that is another major pain point for real estate agents.
Yeah. So our price point for our 40-hour plan is right about $9 an hour. So you're going to pay $9 an hour. That includes everything, the insurance. There's no other fees, no taxes, no setup fees. It's just simply our 40-hour service plan. 20-hour service plan, you can start with 20 hours if you want. And by the way, we have delegation coaches. They're going to take you through those processes on what you can delegate and try to coach you along that way on what you can delegate. That way you can free you to work on scaling your real estate company. But it's $9 an hour for our 40 service hour plan, right about $9, and then it's $11 for the 20-hour service plan. Now we do have another service that we do. And so if you're interested in those types of products, you don't want to pay $9 an hour. We have a one-time placement fee service. So we will go through all of our vetting processes, all of our training, all of that stuff. And we will have a placement fee, depending on the position, starting at $1,500. So they're going to go through all of our processes, systems, interviews, and then you're going to get to interview them as well. And then once they're placed, you pay us that money, and that's a one-time fee. And then after that, you train and manage them going forward.
And you just pay them direct at that point. So you can pay them whatever you want at that point. And what are the rates at that point? So if I pay $1,500 up front, now this person is working directly for me. What does that look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to want to pay them an incentive-based amount. So a base commission, a base hourly pay anywhere from like $5 to $6 an hour is what you want to pay them, depending on the level. Now, a TC, you're going to need to pay them more for that position. I think we placed 2 TCs last week with a company. And so, that's going to be a little more, social media management or marketing, that's going to be a little more. But as far as calling FSBOs, expireds, admin position, working your CRM, whether it's Follow Boss or Chime or whatever. Working your email campaigns and doing things like that, that's basic $9 level stuff. I'm sorry, $5 to $6 level stuff. The TC is going to be around 7 or 8. And so that's what we suggest. Now, you've got to make sure that they have incentive to do well. And so I know you do this, Michael, at your company. If they get a sale or an appointment, you give them a bonus of like $20, $25. You guys do this and it works. And you have to do that in order to make them successful, or they're just punching a time clock and they're going to work and they're not invested. Am I right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. And, we even track metrics. I can tell you, like for me as a coach, I can tell you what is my cost per attendee at each one of my events per VA, right? So I've got my ISAs that are making calls, and I can tell you that, with this ISA, it costs me this much to get a person in a seat. With this one, it costs me that much. And that makes a big difference. All right, so let me ask you a couple other things. So, first of all, I love that model, and it's rare to find a VA company that will do that, where they'll say, "Hey, you can just pay me up front, and then I'll release that person to you, and you don't have to pay me, the company, on an ongoing basis. You just pay that person direct." Now, obviously, if they're doing that, now they would have to, if they want to provide health insurance, they would need to provide that. If they want to, provide some of the other stuff, they would need to do that because that's no longer something you're providing. But you're providing all of those things inside your $9 an hour rate and your $11 an hour rate if they're part-time. Is that right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct. That's including the training and management, by the way.
Right.
So,
Yep.
we had a client in a real estate company that needed some SOPs done, and the executive assistant wasn't sure how to do them. Well, we trained her how to write those SOPs, and so it's weekly, ongoing training so they can get better at their job. You don't have to train them. We do that. And so that's what's included in that $9 and $11 an hour position is that ongoing training and management. It's a real position. And so that's what real companies do. If you want to hire a VA and churn and burn and not train them, and you don't know what they're doing on a daily basis, you're going to spend more time wondering what they're doing and having to correct them and having to train them than you are just paying $9 per hour. It just makes more sense.
So let me ask you this. There's also an accountability component to this, and this is a big deal. And so if I heard you correctly, it sounded like you're using some kind of software to track screenshots and what websites they're on, all that kind of stuff. Is that included in the price, or do they need to get? I'll give you an example. Like, we use a software called Time Doctor, and we have to go pay for that, and we have to pay per seat for that, and there's expense included with that, right? Now, I love that accountability. I love that we have that available, and in addition to that, we have them on Zoom with us all day, every day. If they're on the clock, they're on Zoom and they're on our Time Doctor software. How are you guys managing that process?
Exactly the same way. It's a different software that we use, but it's used for large numbers of people in organizations. So, Mary's one of our trainers, and she is in charge of a group of executive assistants for our company. She runs those reports. And then, any flags, you get those random screenshots, I'm sure, just like Time Doctor, and you're going to get those. And it's interesting. You know exactly what they're doing on a consistent basis. And if you have those systems and processes in place, your VA, we call them executive assistants, not VAs, but your executive assistants are going to be more successful because it's a professional company with training and management and accountability, and they're going to be more productive than you just churning and burning VAs. So that software is a crucial part of our systems and processes, for sure.
And it's included at no extra cost.
It is included, yes. So that's included, that software, just like the health insurance and the ongoing training, all that is built into the $9 an hour service plan, and then the $11 an hour service plan. So all that's included. You don't have to pay anything else. That is what we do. That's where we're different. We're not a normal VA company. We're not an everyday VA company. We don't want to be an everyday VA company. We want to be better. And so if real estate agents, if you want to churn and burn, just like we said, then, you can hire that way. It's going to be overwhelming. I'll tell you that. You're not going to have time to train. You're not going to have time to manage. You're going to feel like they might not be doing the work that they should be doing. But we take care of all of that with our $9 an hour service plan and our $11 an hour service plan.
One of the things that I really like is, first of all, with every other VA company we've encountered out there, I've had nothing but problems. I'm telling you, man, I mean, it's literally like just nightmare scenarios with other VA companies. And one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the many reasons that we've experienced challenges with some of these companies is that it's the way they treat their VAs. It's the way that, first of all, they're not, most of them aren't providing health insurance. They aren't taking care of them. I can think of the most popular one, or, historically the most popular one in real estate And first of all, the guy that owns it's just despicable. I'm not going to tell you the name of the company because they're
No,
on our
don't say it.
blacklist. Yeah, they're just terrible. The guy's despicable. He treats his people horribly. We've hired a bunch of people that used to work there, and they said they couldn't get out of there fast enough. They hated it. They felt like they were indentured servants. I mean, it was a crap show for lack of a better term. And so I love the way you guys treat your VAs. I love that you guys treat them like family. You take good care of them. You provide them with health insurance, and you're providing them with compassionate oversight in a way that really truly helps them feel like a part of the team. And that's why I feel like your retention rates are so much better. So that being said, now where do we go? I believe to get a hold of them, can they go to, is it clubwealth.com/VA? Is that correct? Double check.
I don't know, but they can go directly to our website. I don't know if we have that
how do
link.
you know they came from Club Wealth? How do we make sure they know that? I'm going to check.
That's a great question. I don't know if we have that link set up yet, Michael. So,
Okay.
but for now, it's vitalisoutsourcing.com.
Okay, let me just take a quick look at this really quick. I'm just double checking that website. I probably should have done this before we got on here.
That's fine.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to, that one took me to a different website. Okay, so, or a different page on our website. So what we're going to do is, when you guys reach out to them, let them know that you came from Club Wealth, so you can get our deal on their product and their service. And also, so that Gary knows to take extra special care of you because you're from Club
That
Wealth.
is right.
And so you guys get certain reps down there that we work with. That said, I will also get clubwealth.com/VA set up as quickly as possible. Hopefully, by the time most people watch this video, that website will be set up. We'll get it done today. And that will forward you right to Gary and his team. So clubwealth.com/VA. Gary, anything else you want to say about Vitalis or about this process?
Well, I just want to say one last thing,
Yeah.
Michael, and you made a good point. It's our culture with our
Yeah.
company. And so, our executive assistants don't want to leave us. And so that means that there's stability for you. And so that's why we're different. And book a discovery call. We'll give you our blueprint for success. It's 100 tasks that you can delegate right now for real estate agents that you can delegate. And one of our delegation coaches will walk you through that process on how to start that. So, go to our website. You can download that document, book a discovery call from our website. And what do you have to lose except peace, right?
Well, and here's the thing. The reality is if you want to grow your business and you want to do it in an affordable way, and this is, we were just talking about this before the call too. Guys, I've been taking clients from some other coaches out there that, think they're coaching big teams and think they know how to do this. And just recently, in fact, we've taken several clients on from other coaches that frankly have, I think, done them dirty, for lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. Where I've got one person that literally their previous coach, and I won't tell you guys who the name of the coach is. Maybe someday, I don't know. Ask me, maybe I'll tell you. But this particular guy, he has him doing, he did like 600 deals for 4.1 million in gross commission income, and the guy only made $275,000 in GCI, and that works out to about a 6.7% profitability rate. And I'll tell you, I blame the coach. I mean, that's poor coaching. That's terrible advice from the coach. I had another one in Canada just the other day that I saw. And by the way, this guy, the first guy, he should be at, he should easily be over $1 million in net income to him, well over $1 million, 3 million 5 on that kind of GCI. He should be at 28 to 32% profitability, but he's not because he's this particular coach is kind of what I call big hat, no cattle. So he's got him, doing all this stuff to get transactions, but he doesn't know how to watch the P&L, how to make sure that we're profitable. One of the ways that we can get more profitable is through the use of this. And I got to say, the strategic use of VAs, right? I'm not going to suggest that everybody that works for you be a VA. I think you need to have some in-house staff. I think you need to have some licensed assistants in your office. But I also think that they need to have virtual assistants that work for them that really carry a lot of the burden. And when you scale in that way, you get both quantity and quality, and you're able to really, truly grow a business in a very profitable way. I had another one in Canada day before yesterday. I was in Montreal, and I had this guy, he did just over 600 transactions last year. And I had him pull up his org chart. And I looked at his org chart, and literally just by looking at the org chart, I'm like, I can see $1 million you're missing per year in net income right here. Poor leadership structure, poor delegation structure, like just really, truly did not build that organization out properly. And because of that, he's spending way too much money for the wrong people in the wrong places. And let me back up. It might even be some of the right people in the right places. But at the end of the day, he's not using virtual assistants effectively. He's not recruiting effectively. He's not delegating effectively. There's so many places. His leadership is completely backwards. And so really where I'm going with this, guys, is when you understand how to put this together, and my coaches and I do, okay, we know how to do this for you, okay? When you understand how to do this properly and you get the right people in place, particularly when you get the right people in place at the right price, now you can run a very profitable business. And guys, if you're not running profitably, why are you even doing this? And I'll tell you right now, in today's real estate world, if you're going to do any kind of volume whatsoever, virtual assistants are going to be a part of what you do. They just are. That's what you have to do to be, but it's one of the key components to being profitable. And so you got to know who to hire, where to hire them, where to place them in your organization. And Gary and his team at Vitalis really help with that and make it possible for you to hire at literally less than half what you'd be paying people in the States and get literally as good or better quality. And I mean, literally, when you're hiring somebody like that in the Philippines, guys, these are people with graduate degrees. I mean, some of them, like these are high level people that really know what they're doing, but they just happen to be a lot more affordable because of where they live. So Gary, any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
And that's it. What do you have to lose? Book a discovery call and let's see how we can help you. There's no risk or obligation.
All right, sounds great. And guys, I put this in the chat as well. Comment in the Facebook post there. Comment if you'd like the link. I'll go ahead and DM it to you. But again, go to clubwealth.com/VA. We'll make sure that link is working by the end of today. Or send me a DM where you're watching this video, and I will get you squared away. Guys, you need to talk to Gary. Gary, thank you very, very much for doing this. And we're going to bounce, and we're going to go talk about Prospect Boss. So thank you so much, Gary.
Club Wealth is the only coaching company on the planet that will literally guarantee that you will double your income or make at least an extra $100,000 your first year coaching with us, or we will give you 100% of your investment back. Click the link below, sign up for the appropriate tier level, and let's get you a strategy session today. And I promise you, I 100% guarantee you, promise you that you will walk away with a heart full of gratitude for the time that we took for you because you got so much value out of that call. Schedule your strategy session today. I promise you'll be glad you did.